In the previous video, we have seen how to redirect from one servlet to another servlet using request dispatcher. So there is an alternative method to do it using SendRedirect. So let us see how we can redirect from one servlet to another servlet. So there are some differences between these two methods of between request dispatcher and also the SendRedirect. That also we'll see towards the end of this video. So I'll be using the same code so that it becomes quicker to generate the output. So we have done in the previous video, we have an HTML form where it takes two inputs from the user. There is a submit button and there are action. And in the web.xml also we have created two servlets and servlet mappings. We have two servlet names, one is ABC and PQR, which maps to subservlet and a second servlet, and the URLs are /sub and /sq. So the same operation we are going to do with a different approach. So here subservlet we are going to use another function instead of request dispatcher, so we might not be needing this, so let me delete this. So here we will be using REST object, which is the HTTP servlet response object, and I'll be invoking the SendRedirect method, which is part of that. And here we try to give link to the second servlet, and we can also pass the parameters. So, and I am also giving something like this. So let us see what kind of output we get. So this is URL rewriting. We are rewriting the URL. So this is a second way to direct to another. So let us see what all changes we need to do in the second servlet. Earlier we have used get attribute. Now we are going to use get parameter. And also we are going to use a do get method. So let me change that, because if you remember the difference between do get and do post, if you use do get, you can see the URLs getting modified. So whereas in the post we don't see that. So in the get method, whatever content you are sending to the server is passed through the URL. The client can see in the URL. So just to show how things are visible, how the URL redirecting is happening, so here let's use do get method. So let's access the parameter. So we are using request object once again and get parameter, and we mention the value as k, the parameter name as k. So we got the request object here, and that will be saved into an integer k. Int k is equal to, but this has to be parsed. So integer dot parse, and so we are going to do this. So integer dot parse int, so rec dot get parameter k, and that is stored in the value k. So this k value will be once again squared just to show some operation. So I'm squaring here, and this is where I'm going to use the same get writer, which is part of res object. So and also it creates an out object which is of type print writer, which we have also seen in the previous video. So out dot println for printing the output. So here our output, I'll call it as say result, and that it will concatenate to the value k. So that's how we have written the second servlet, and so we are using SendRedirect to redirect to the second servlet, which is sq, and we are also passing the parameter k, and that parameter is being accessed here, and we are squaring the value, and we are printing the output. So let us see what sort of output we get with this approach. So I'll go to my index.html and run on server, select my Tomcat server and refresh it. Here you can enter two numbers, say 31 minus say 11, and you can submit. So here we are able to see an error. So let's try to find out. So it's just about restarting the server. So if you see, so we just restart the server, and we right click on the output, and we right click here and run on server. So select the Tomcat 8.5 and finish it. So here enter any two numbers, so 31 minus say 11, so which is 20, and it will be squared, so we will be getting 400 as the output. So this is what we got. So subtraction is done in the first servlet and squaring is done in the second servlet, and this is the second approach of how we can redirect from one servlet to another. So in summary, so we used index.html for accessing the values from the client and or user, and we saved that in two variables, num1 and num2, and we redirected. So we have the action sub. So this sub action is linked to sub servlet, and the sub servlet contains the business logic where we subtracted two numbers, and it used the send redirect method of response object to redirect the URL to a second servlet. So our second servlet is contains the mapping URL pattern as /sq. So we, whenever send redirect invokes sq, it with the parameters, our second servlet will be executed, and within this second servlet we have accessed the parameter k by using get parameter, and we have squared it and we have given the result, and that's what we have seen. The result is 400. So in this observation in using this send redirector is, you can observe in the URL. If you see the URLs here, localhost is to 8080 my first servlet, you are able to see the value which we have given to the parameter which has been passed to the second servlet in the URL. So this is the one difference between get do get and do post methods. When we use do get method, the URL contains the values which have been you can see the values. So we passed k is equal to 20 from the first servlet to the second servlet, and that is being visible here. So it is like a URL redirecting, whereas the first method request dispatcher happens at a servlet level. So servlet will forward from first servlet to a second servlet, whereas here the URLs will be redirected, and that can be seen because we are using do get method. We are able to see that in the URLs, the changes which are happening. Yeah, this is also an important thing to remember, and these are the two different ways of redirecting from one servlet to another servlet. First using request dispatcher, and the second using send redirect. Thank you.